There is it? No, sorry. Wally Frank came up there into third spot, and the Big E8's ahead of Roger Size back there in fourth. And these three cars are really battling it out there for those minor placings. Roger Size, have a look up the front straight there. No, Wally Frank he just had no. Yep, that just wasn't nice. He just put Wally out, I'd say. Then he was going so well, holding down that third spot. So they'll be downstairs here if you can come on up and claim them. Okay, we've got Jim Duggan from Peter Timberlake and Roger Sice, I would say now. Okay, Peter Timberlake coming around now for the green flag, and they want to start like that. That's how they're going to start. So they're away now. We're just on 4 laps to go of this heat 8. They know we've got a wheel off up here in turn 4. There she's still rolling. That's okay, it certainly knows where to go. Right over to track manager Rick West, who will dutifully roll it into its correct resting place. And tow truck. She looks as though someone forgot to tighten that one up.
Could you get Rick down? Someone's lost a peanut barrel there.
Okay, Peter Timberlake now in the lead with just on 4 laps to go, and they're looking for the way around there, but not quite finding it yet. Okay, right up high there, but still not finding that way around. But as they come around, and he's certainly trying his hardest to get up there around Peter Timberlake, and certainly is finding the fastest way around there up high, and right up into first place now with just a little over 2.5 laps to go there, and it's Peter Aylett holding down that first spot from Peter Timberlake back there to Ron Dalton, and 2 laps to go now for Peter Aylett, and Peter Timberlake out there clearing out from the rest of the field as they come right back down the back straight and into turn 3 and 4 with white flag out now with 1 lap to go. Peter Aylett doing it well there from Peter Timberlake. 13 car there. Back in third spot of Jeff Irons. It's still checker flag ready now from John Crocker down there at the start, and as they come around, and good win there to Peter Aylett from Peter Timberlake. Jeff Irons up into third spot there. Okay, we're ready for a start now with Tony Gridstead off the pole there. Guy Miller outside him. Keys Wheel from Warrnambool there. Bruce Tate, sorry. Peter Bink from Canberra in the Mazda Rotary there. Peter Aylett back there in the 21 car. Dean McCarthy back there. And the Western Australian car. Of Colin Simmons. Okay, looks good. Green flag ready. Down there with John Crocker at the start line. Tony Grinstead off the pole there. Good run tonight, and they're away. Tony Grinstead with that little bit of extra power there away, and the race is on back there for 4th, 5th and 6th with Bruce Tate and Peter Bink there, but Peter gets the better of Bruce down the back straight, and bit of a problem there for the big commander back there, but everyone's sorted themselves out, and it's Tony Grinstead doing it so well from Keys Wheel. Gets a little bit of a bump there from Guy Miller, but still Tony Grinstead doing it well from Keys Wheel, and Peter Bink there looking for that third spot, but just not able to make it coming under their turn there, but maybe he'll do it up the straight, but no, he's still holding down just half a length there. But Guy Miller moving up a little and letting Peter Bink through, and Dean McCarthy there, a little bit out of shape and wonky up the back straight, but holding it down well now, and looking for that 4th spot as they come on through now. So it's Tony Grinstead Grinstead. Keys wheel up the back straight there from Peter Bink and Dean McCarthy there as they come on right up there into turn 3 with a little over 8 laps to go for this heat 9. And they come around and Tony Grinstead there up the back straight now, doing it comfortably from Keys wheel. And Dean McCarthy trying that big outside pass there out of turn 3, but not able to pull it off, but he almost does there, and Peter Aylett not giving him an inch there, so Dean McCarthy's going to have to do it the hard way up the outside, and he certainly does, and calls there and comes on up into third spot. There's Dean McCarthy ahead of Peter Aylett and Peter Bink there in the Mazda Rotary. It's still Tony Grinstead now with a little over 5 laps to go for this Heat 9 of the Australian Super Sedan Championship. Down on in under the Speedbowl sign there, and he's got a comfortable lead there ahead of Keys wheel and Dean McCarthy there ahead of Aylett and Peter Bink in the little Mazda Rotary. Tony Grinstead doing it well. 4 laps to go for Tony. Comes on down there. Dean McCarthy up in a third spot there, ahead of Peter Aylett. Tony Grinstead coming down around out of turn 3 with just over 3 laps to go now for Tony Grinstead. Ahead of Keys wheel in the Owen Holmes Tirana, and Dean McCarthy ahead of Peter Aylett holding down that 4th spot. 2 laps to go now for Tony Grinstead as he comes down and does it really well. Round under the Speedbowl sign with just about a lap and a half to go now. And looks good tonight, does Tony Grinstead, as he runs in this, the last of his heats for the night. Okay, 1 lap to go now for Tony Grinstead, ahead of Keys wheel, and Dean McCarthy closing on that 2nd place, and certainly looking for more points as they come on up under Keys wheel, and Keys will hold that tight line there, but Tony Grinstead, checkered flag, great first place. Have a look at Peter Aylett with a big outside pass for the line. He's just not going to make it, and will have to be content with that 4th spot, but that was a great little finish there from these cars in Heat 9 of the Australian Super Sedan Championship. And there in it, it's Jim English gets the foot right down there, and he's away from Dallas Jewson and Kim Cottrell, with Stephen Olive bringing up that 4th spot. Okay, down into turn 3 for this event 10 now. We get on through it there, and let's hope we can get through this one without a stoppage. Jim English now with it on 11 to go. Around under the Speedbowl sign, and these 3 cars are really having a great little race. They're up the back straight. Jim English down on in now. Dallas Jewson not really wanting to back off there because he's looking for these points too. Likes to try and get under the cars, does Dallas, and it's a little bit physical there, but anyway, Jim English not backing off there, and it's a race for turn 3, and that's just a little bit of a lean there from Dallas, and well, we'll just have to see. And Kim Cottrell trying the same stuff on Jim English, and he's through in a 2nd spot ahead of Jim English. But Dallas Jewson now right up into 1st spot ahead of Kim Cottrell. The 2 South Australians ahead of the Victorian Jim English and the Big Falcon. Stephen Olive back there in 4th spot in the big blue Corvette. Okay, Dallas Jewson pulling in. So it's Kim Cottrell now with just a little over 7 laps to go ahead of Jim English, Stephen Olive, and the 29 car back there. Okay, back to the leaders now. Still Kim Cottrell from Jim English in the big black Falcon out there. Tony Rumer back there bringing up the tail end. He's now into 4th spot. Just 5.5 laps to go now for Kim Cottrell. Dallas Jewson out there on the grass, going really quick there too. Okay, Kim Cottrell there with just a little over 4.5 laps to go now as he comes down the back straight. Well clear of Jim English back there in second spot from Stephen Olive and Tony Rumour back there in fourth spot in the Commodore, New South Wales Commodore. Kim Cottrell there, 4 laps to go now. Up the back straight, down Yokohama straight, into the turn 3 round there. Doing it well, comfortable now as Kim pick up the 51 points for first spot. Give him a good lot of points there. Stephen Olive back there in the big blue Corvette, ahead of Tony Rumour there. 2 New South Wales club cars there. Kim Cottrell coming around now, just on 2 laps to go as he comes around over the start line. Ahead of Jim English. John Crocker with his white flag there ready as Kim Cottrell now has 1.5 laps to go. So come on down. Big guys here for 3rd and 4th spot as Tony Rumour gets right up under Stephen Olive there and relegates him back to 4th spot. 1 lap to go now for Kim Cottrell, Jim English, as they come on around for the last time in this Heat 10. Come on round out of turn 4 and John Crocker's down there with his checkered flag for Kim Cottrell. Oh, Jim English getting horribly high up there. I know he might have lost a tyre by the look of it. No, he's maybe problem with the car or a bit of brain fade, who knows. And up in a 2nd spot there for Jim, but it's Tony Rumour 3rd and Stephen Olive brings down that 4th spot. The charge Commodore, we're into heat 11, 1 to go. Okay, green flag and they're racing. It's Gary Chippendale there out of the pole. There's Fullerton back there, sound David House there, 3rd spot, and Jim Velitis up there in a 4th spot. Okay, Gary Chippendale out clear now. There's Fullerton, David House looking for the way underneath him, but not finding it. Position still the same as they go down under the Speedway sign. And, David House now 3rd spot behind Des Fullerton in the number 9 Tirana there. Jim Velitis in the big HQ Hodden there looking for the way under, but not finding it. And they settle down now, but Gary Chippendale well out there as he heads on up the Yokohama back straight. Well clear of the rest of the field, there's nothing provided out there. And it's Des Fullerton holding down that 2nd spot, and David House now finding the way under him and getting clear. Jim Velitis still looking for the same line, but Desi Fullerton will not let him in if he can help it as they go down on the Speedbowl sign. Oh, Jim Velitis getting a little out of shape there as they come on around, but back on up the back straight, and it's now Gary Chippendale well clear up in the 1st spot there. David House holding down that 2nd spot, and Des Fullerton back in a 3rd. Jim Velitis got a problem with the car. Looks like an inside rear tyre guy, and yep, certainly has. So he's out of the race. Gary Chippendale coming around now with just 7 laps to go for Gary, and doing it well, quite comfortably out there in the big turbo Commodore. David House back there in 2nd spot, coming up to lap the car of Queensland car of Brian Nichols there, and looks like Kevin Parkinson now on up into 3rd spot, I think, ahead of Desi Fullerton, but getting it together now was Kevin as he goes in 3rd spot. Gary Chippendale coming up, lapping the slower cars, coming around now, just a little over 5 laps to go, and Gary coming on up there, doing well, down under the Speedbowl sign, around, and up the back straight there for Gary Chippendale, length of the straight ahead of Brian House back in 2nd spot, and Kevin Parkinson ranging up now on David House, looking for that 2nd spot, and we'll just see what the big black Corvette can do there as he comes on up to the Monza. 4 to go. Oh, slow car there. They come on up. Kevin Parkinson right up behind David House now, and the race is on for 2nd and 3rd spot as Kevin Parkinson looks for that line underneath David House, and he may have found it into turn 1, but yes, a little bit of a lane there, but he's away, and Kevin Parkinson now takes over that second spot ahead of David House from Canberra. 2 laps to go now for Gary Chippendall as he cruises down under the Speedbowl sign ahead of Kevin Parkinson, David House, and not really sure who's back there. I think it's Jeff Irons back there in 4th spot in the big Camaro there. But Gary Chippendall now 1 lap to go as he goes round for the last time tonight for Gary in these heats ahead of Kevin Parkinson and David House. Gary Chippendall up the back straight now, down into turn 3. He comes on round looking for the checkered flag now from John Crocker, and it's Gary Chippendall. Great win for Gary. And Kevin Parkinson too worked his way through the field up in the 2nd spot. Great drive by Kevin, and David House up in the 3rd spot. Best result I think for David in his heats tonight, ahead of Jeff Irons and well, I'm not sure who after that. Sorry? Yeah, from Canberra, isn't it? Okay, last of the heats now, and Peter Timberlake off the pole, Brian Holbrook from Canberra outside Peter. Okay, green flag, and we're racing. Brian Holbrook there got a little bit of a jump on Peter Timmo, but Peter's got the inside line there, and he's away. Brian Holbrook trying to come back up the back straight there, and have a look at Gavin McKenzie as he comes up into 2nd spot. Holbrook's not going to let him go there, but he's really going to have to get around the big Falcon there. Chris Blunden right up there in a 4, but loses a bit out of turn 2, but he's coming back now and right up into position 4 is Chris Blunden, the Australian champion. But it's Peter Timberlake doing it so well from Gavin McKenzie. Brian Holbrook and then Chris Blunden looking for the way around the big Corvette there, but he's going to have to do it the hard way, I think, as they come on down there with just a little over 9 laps to go. Peter Timberlake doing it very well there from Gavin McKenzie, Brian Holbrook and Chris Blunden there clearing out from the rest of the field there. Peter Timberlake now doing it well down the back straight. Gavin McKenzie, Brian Holbrook and Chris Blunden there as they come around out of turn 4 for just on 8 laps to go now. And Peter Timberlake really on the pace tonight in the old HQ Monaro, ahead of Gavin McKenzie and the big Falcon, the Corvette of Brian Holbrook, and then the big Commodore of Chris Blunden. Have a look at Chris Blunden, he's looking for the way under there now. Might just do it, but no, he's got to back off there and give way. So he's still holding down that 4th spot with just a little over 6.5 laps to go now. So still Peter Timberlake doing it though so well tonight here at the bowl. Okay, Peter Timberlake down under the Speedbowl sign, just a little over 5.5 laps now to go, and doing it well from Gavin McKenzie and Chris Blunden. Oh, it looks as though we've got a problem there with Brian Holbrook's car for some reason, but lost a lot of ground there, a lot of smoke for some reason, but back now to 4th spot, and it's Chris Blunden who goes up into 3rd spot behind Gavin McKenzie and the big Black Falcon. 4.5 laps to go now for Peter Timberlake. He's got a good handy lead there, coming up to lap the slower car, holds it down tight there, driving really well there in the old HQ. Okay, slower car there, causing a bit of a problem. Gavin McKenzie just loses like Chris Blunden outside, certainly takes the advantage there, and down around with just on 3 laps to go now. Chris Blunden up in the 2nd spot, really used his head there and got around that slower car. Gavin McKenzie back in a 3rd spot there. Peter Timberlake down there. Just a little over 2 laps to go for this final heat for the Australian Super Sedan Championship. Okay. 1 lap, a little over. Oh, Peter Timberlake pushing badly out of the turn there. Lost a lot of ground there, but Chris Blunden, he might just be able to get around. He's going to certainly try hard, but oh, what a finish there. But Peter just had that comfortable lead there and Chris wasn't able to get it, but great drive there to Peter Timberlake and Chris Blunden there. Sorry, thought it was the last lap there, but they're coming around now and Peter Timberlake still just holding that down, checkered flag there for Peter Timberlake in that final heat. So he goes off with the 51 points and Chris Blunden picks up the 40 points for second spot there. Okay, all cars will circulate now and we'll be right into this 30-lap final for the Australian Super Sedan Championship. Tony Grinstead right off the pole there with Chris Blunden, the defending Australian champion, sitting right there next to him. A great spot to be on the outside at the front, because as they go into turn one, that's going to be the high line.
16.
Harry Cornwall's not sure where he's starting and comes out of 16. Barry Cornwall should be up next to Dean McCarthy there somewhere. Request getting him organised, so it looks good. Okay, green flag getting ready. So is everyone, adrenaline really pumping now. Tony Grinstead holding down that favoured spot, but Chris Blunden got the better line and green flag, and away we go. And have a look at Chris Blunden, he's really got the jump on Tony Grinstead there, so they go right into turn one. Fair bit of physical stuff there, but they get around there all right, and that's really great stuff. Now have a look at Peter Aylett up the outside of Tony Grinstead as he runs right up into that second spot. And it's Chris Blunden, Australia one, out in the lead where he just loves to run. Tony Grinstead there up in a third spot with Kevin Parkinson now coming at fourth. Oh, Tony Grinstead a little out of shape. Kevin Parkinson high, Kim Cottrell back under, but they're back and racing now. And, okay, Tony Grinstead there now up in that third spot behind Peter Aylett and Chris Blunden starting to move away from the rest of the pack. Okay, cars settling down now. Dean McCarthy losing a lot of ground up the back straight there. David House really barreling in there in the turn three, but he's right back there now and he's okay. Chris Blunden, Peter Aylett running 1 and 2 there from Tony Grinstead, Kevin Parkinson, Kim Cottrell, Peter Timberlake and Gary Chippendale back there from Gavin McKenzie in the Commodore. Okay, Chris Blunden doing it well up there. It's soon coming up to lap slower cars, so just 26 laps to go. And Rod Tresize from Queensland getting a little untidy there, but he's back in the race. Okay, Chris Blunden now coming up the back straight under the Yokohama Sun, catching up to these slower cars. And can take advantage here as they come around. Cars all everywhere. Brian Holbrook there just holding yellow light down. Kim Cottrell up on the 3XY corner there. Okay, well, 25 to go. Chris Blunden from Peter Aylett, Tony Grinstead, Kevin Parkinson, Peter Timberlake, Gary Chippendale, Gavin McKenzie back there, Jim English there in the big black Falcon from Stephen Olive in the blue Corvette there. Instead, but not finding it. Jim English out up the back straight there, some problem. And Chris Blunden still holding down that first spot, really sideways there as he comes out of 4. On down, around under the Speedbowl sign there, which is on 23 to go now for this Australian Super Sedan Championship. Up the back straight, Peter Aylett not giving him an inch there, and if he gets half a chance, he'll try and get around him, but he's going to have to do it the hard way, I'd say, tonight, because Chris is really flying. Kevin Parkinson now up in the 3rd spot under Tony Grinstead, and he's out after the leaders too. Tony a little high there, Timberlake looking for a way through, but not finding it. And still Chris Blunden there, but Peter Aylett's just ever so close behind him. They come around now to turn 4 with Kevin Parkinson looming up there, and there's not a lot between these cars as they go in under the Speedbowl sign with just on 9 laps gone, and really there's only a matter of inches, and only one has to make a mistake, and here goes Peter Aylett. He's looking for that way around as the slower Bruce Tate holds Chris Blunden up, but Chris is right up under there, and Bruce and Kevin Parkinson almost moves up on Peter Aylett, but Peter just clears out a little bit down the back straight, around into turn 3, and this is turning out to be a great race between these front runners, as Chris Blunden still holds down that first spot ahead of Peter Aylett, and they're coming up, they're lapping cars one after the other, and this is where the race really happens. A little bit of physical stuff up in the turn 3, and Chris just sneaks through underneath beautifully there, around for just 18 laps to go, and we're really getting through this one. Oh, he's missed that, and Chris Blunden, no, over down there into turn 1. Just nothing he could do with that one run right out of room there, and just happened so quick, and that's a great pity for Chris, who's just running so strong and defending his title here. Just hope he's okay. Didn't look real bad, and pretty safe, I'd say. Okay, Chris left with nowhere to go, unfortunately, and that's just put him right out. Okay, 19 laps to go. Green flag ready, and let's let her go. Okay, it's Peter Aylett right now into the lead from Kevin Parkinson, and Tony Grinstead back there in 3rd spot. Peter Aylett wouldn't want to go too high too often, because Kevin Parkinson's going to get right under him, and that's exactly what he's doing, and Kevin Parkinson's right off it tonight, and out after that number 1. Peter Aylett's got a problem, I'd say, and he slowed right down there. Okay, doesn't look good there for Peter Aylett, but the reason we've got the yellow light is there's a muffler on the track apparently. So we better get that off, we don't want that thrown up.
Ready, John?
Okay, well let's get into it now, and the green flag's ready. Okay, let's go. Kevin Parkinson, and he's just going so quick tonight in the old Corvette there, and doing well, and Tony Grinstead's off around Bruce Tate, the lap car, and Peter Timberlake's back there too, with Gary Chippendale ranging up there, and it's all Victoria right back to David House from Canberra. So Kevin Parkinson, Tony Grinstead and Peter Timberlake holding down those first 3 spots as they go in under the Speedbowl sign with 18 to go. Kevin Parkinson doing it really well tonight, driven smoothly all night, and he looks so good even now. Okay, cars coming round now, 17 to go for Kevin Parkinson from Tony Grinstead, Peter Timberlake and Gary Chippendale in the Turbo Commodore up the back straight there. And coming in at turn 3 there with just a little over the 16 laps to go now. Okay, Dean McCarthy making a big charge up around out of turn 4 now in the Corvette, and he's got his sights set now on those place getters up near the front there, but it's still Kevin Parkinson doing it well from Tony Grinstead and Peter Timberlake back there. Gary Chippendale holding down that good 4th place there too. 15 to go, and we're halfway there as they come down the back straight. Stephen Olive, a bit of a hiccup down there into turn 3 in the Corvette, but he's okay. Peter Bink out in the Mazda Roadra. Some mechanical problem there for Peter too, unfortunately. It's still Kevin Parkinson doing it in fine style up the back straight now with just 13.5 laps to go from Tony Grinstead there holding down that second spot from Peter Timberlake in 3rd and Gary Chimmel. These cars, there's not much in it between these 3, and one of them could throw out the challenge to Kevin any moment. Okay, Peter Timberlake really getting it down there in the HQ Monaro, and he really puts that thing around pretty quick. And he's looking for a way around Tony Grinstead, but not able to find him. We're just on 12 laps to go now as Kevin Parkinson comes down low, and he lost a lot of ground there. Some problem, I'd say, with Kevin's car, and that's a great pity. Just lost so much ground. He's still in it, but he just seemed to lose something. Have a look at Gary Chippendale up around Peter Timberlake there into turn 1, and he's running really hot now. He's up in a 2nd spot and looking for a way around Tony Grinstead now, and I tell you what, the way the Commodore's going there, he might just find that. Kevin Parkinson's still back there, but have a look at these 3 cars there. The 3 Holdens battling it out there with just 10 to go now, and Gary Chippendale has reckoned it must be time to make his run, and he's up the back straight there. He's really giving Tony Grinstead a hard time. Oh, just a little bit too hard there, Gary, but he's backed off there and let Tony settle down. That caution flag out for Gary, so you're going to have to do it a little more cleanly than that if they come around again. He's just hanging back now, thinking about it, and they go down and lap the slower car there. A little over 8 laps to go in this Australian Super Sedan Championship. Tony Grinstead holding down that lead now from Gary Chippendale and Peter Timberlake. Lap car there, back to David House there, I think, back in 4th spot from Kevin Parkinson now. David's starting to get going, but he's still got a bit of ground to catch up on these cars up front. 7 to go now for Tony Grinstead. Gary Chippendale not giving him an inch under the lapped Stephen Olive, and Peter Timberlake too, just hanging right in there in 3rd spot as they come around now with just on 6 laps to go. David House back there in 4th spot, making up a bit of ground, but I think it's a little too much for him to do in 6 laps. Back now, Tony Grinstead coming around. Oh, have a look at Gary Chippendale. He's really got the bit between the teeth now, and he's going to lose out to Peter Timberlake if he's not careful. He certainly does, but he's hanging in there up high, and you can run high. And have a look at Chippendale up the back straight and still doing it fine style. And if he really hangs on there, he's going to have to pull that big high line pass around Tony Grinstead, and a little out of shape there coming out of the turn. But what a race these 3 guys are really having as they barrel down in, and oh, she just got a little bit up on 2 wheels there, and oh, I think he got a bit of a fright there, and it's Peter Timberlake took advantage there, and he's up in the 2nd spot behind Tony Grinstead, but just on 3 laps to go now for these cars, and what a race we're having up here in these first 3 spots. But have a look at Timberlake, he wants to win this one too. Gary Chippendale, oh, up the back straight there, right up in the 2nd spot ahead of Peter Timberlake. Peter's not giving up without a fight, and it's just on 2 laps to go now for these 3 cars, and what a fantastic race they're putting on for us, ladies and gentlemen, as they go in. Tony Grinstead still hanging on grimly to that 1st spot. Gary Chippendale wants that 3 off his car and wants the 1, but Tony Grinstead hanging on now. White flag out for 1 lap to go for these guys, and it's really on, but Gary Chippendale's going to have to do it the hard way there, but holy, right up inside, but no, that's just not the way to do it, Gary, and that's fine, just let it go. Peter Timberlake, oh, not much room up there, a big dive deep into turn 3, and have a look at Timberlake. He said, that's it, I'm going to do it, and it's so close, we can't there's still 4th place to come up yet. Kevin Parkinson there up in a 4th place, I think, by the look of it. David House just seemed to lose so much there. David House has broken something in his front end, but what a race there. I'm not even sure who came 2nd and 3rd, to be honest. Peter Timberlake 2nd and Gary Chippendale 3rd, but what a race that was, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just hear it for these 3 guys. Fantastic race, and a great effort by everyone, really. It was just could have been anyone's race right from the start. Anything of half a dozen cars there. Chris Blunden early on, then Peter Aylett, and then Tony Grinstead looked like being back a little there at one stage. But what a great race, and new Australian champion, I'd say, in Tony Grinstead there, and a really nice guy too. Tony really puts in here at the bowl, and well-deserved win to Tony Grinstead. We'll just have to wait now. Okay, well that's tremendous, and as I said, nicer guy couldn't have won it. Who from?
Against David House, I would say, by the way.
Yeah, but that's not going to affect 1st, 2nd and 3rd, is that?